Woo! Hey yo, what's up? Magandang gabi mga kaibigan. Nandito na muli ang inyong Happy Dad, Arnie Guaps, sa isa na namang live patungkol sa Genshin Impact. Yan, medyo matagal akong di nakapaglaro, parang one day. Kasi may lakad kami kahapon, hindi nakapaglaro ng gabi kasi nagpahinga ng maaga. So ngayon silipin natin kung anong nangyari sa mga kaganapan dito sa Genshin Impact. Ayan. Shout out sa ating 3 million viewers. Ayan. Pa-like, comment, and share naman ng ating stream, mga kaibigan at mga kapatid. Ayan. Parang hindi gumagana yung alert box ko ah. Yun no. So, ano nga bang bago ngayon sa Genshin? Wala na akong alam ah. Teka, i-share ko muna ang ating stream. Titingnan natin mabuti. I-check natin kung anong mga kaganapan sa ating stream. Salamat, kumparing Reggie, sa pag-like ng stream. Ayan. Maraming salamat. At sa pag... Yan. Hintay lang tayong konti, baka madagdagan yung viewers natin. Assuming ka, boy. Siga ka ba, boy?
Alright. As in business, you always have to seize the opportunity while it's
na
there.
kasi ako kanina. Nakapag-commission na ako. So, medyo tahimik tayo ngayon, kaya magbubukas tayo ng mic. Kasi tulog na. Ay, hindi. Tulog pa ang ating mga chikiting. Kaya mapagbukas tayo ng mic at hindi sila maingay masyado. Okay, madami tayong bagong events ngayong linggo. Ayan. Nakapag-daily commissions na ako kanina. So, eto na lang ang aking gagawin kung ano man ito. Tsaka, meron daw story quest na bago. Ito, story quest. Kaso, hindi ko pa mabubuksan kasi wala akong key. Ubus yung key ko. Inubos ko dito yung key ko eh, oh. Oh, ubos ang key. Ito pa, may isa pa. Ito, kay Noel. Yung date ni Noel. Ah, bukas ka na pala to. Okay, pwede tayong mag-hangout mamaya. Pati itong kay Dio na pwede nating gawin. Pero bago iyon, ay magsusunod muna tayo ng resin. Kasi meron tayong 154 na resin. Medyo naman problema ako. You know, shout out. Thank you, Lods. Shout out, parang Reggie. Congratulations. Sakal ka na. Congratulations sa kasal mo. Sayang di kami nakapunta. Pero next time pupunta kami pagka kinasal ka uli. Yan, medyo late ko nababasa yung stream guys kasi isa lang yung monitor natin eh. Baka naman pwede nyo bigyan. De joke lang. Alright, so check lang natin. Wala palang buhay yung kaching natin, oh. Ayan. Meron tayong ano. Ayun, 20. Bigyan tayong 20. Ano pa bang pwede natin gawin? Ito, yung teapot. Ito, silipin din natin itong chilled to the bone na to. Bagong cryo hypostasis na boss. Yung hangout events kanina. Itong test run. Hindi pa natin nasusubukan. Susubukan natin si Yanfei. Sana makakuha tayo kahit isa. Tsaka ito yung story quest ni Zhongli. So, yun nga. Wala tayong tawag dito. Wala tayong key para mabukas. So, banat muna tayo ng isang boss. Ay, di pala. Problema pala ako. Kasi nakabunot ako ng dilok nung isang araw. Ang tagal-tagal ko nang inintay. Ngayon lang dumating ang lintik na dilok. Tagal-tagal kong pinangarap na magkaroon. Ngayon lang dumating. So, gagawa na naman ako ng set na bago. At, ito pala, meron pala tayong bagong domain. Ito, yung may pale flame, tsaka tenacity of the mididit. Kung tama man yung basa ko. Yan. Ito pala yung cryo. Sa may dragon spine pala siya. Uy, meron siyang bagong item, oh. Crystalline Bloom. Check natin yan mamaya kung magkakaroon tayo ng chance. Pero for the meantime, magbawas muna tayong resin kasi balita ko mahaba daw yung quests. Ha? Pangit ako. Huwag mo nang tanongin. Ha? Hindi, para maliwanag. Kaya mo na, ang pangit ko eh. Kaya di mo na ako magkakamera. Pangit. Pagka nakabili na tayo ng maganda. Hindi, okay na yan, ganyan. Wow, dami ko pera. Dami ko pera po. Walang 1 star dyan, minimum 100 stars minimum. Sa stream ko minimum na bayad 100 stars. Para din naman ako nagmumukhang taka dito na ikaw kausap ko sa likod. Ano ka may pag-usap sa akin sa comment. Ito, mag-comment ka. Interaction din yan. Engagement yan. Engagement. Sayang yan. Paslangin natin sa mga hype. Ay, nakalipod. Wala nakalipod. Sayang. Ano nga yung gagawin ko na wala tuloy ako mami eh. Magbabawas pala ako resin. Kasi kukunin ko muna yung tipat quest. Mahaba-haba daw yun eh. Hindi ko pala magagawa yung tawag dito. Gagawin na lang natin yun off stream. Yung bagong ni Zongli. Bagong quest ni Zongli para ma-unlock na rin natin yung yung world boss. Ay, yung nga pala, hindi pa nga pala ako nagbo-boss. Oo, yun na lang pala ang gawin natin. Oo, isa. Dalawa. Yun, tatlo. Tatlong boss pala. Hindi pa tayo nagbo-boss. So, yun na lang muna ang gagawin natin. Wow, face reveal idol. Matulog ka, kakalive ko lang, patutulugin mo na ako agad. Grabe ka naman sa akin. Ibang klase naman po pala. I-like mo na, tsaka share mo na rin yung stream. Ikaw naman eh. Puro ka cooking battle eh. Dapat ikaw nag-i-stream eh. Gamer ka eh. Puro ka cooking battle. Pro Abel Garcia. Ang nag-iisang fan. Check natin kung anong mga nangyayari. Yan. Grabe ang hirap oh. Magbabasa ako ng comment. Dilipat pa ako ng ng OBS. Pero yun nga. Back to the ball game. Muna tayo. Mag-child muna tayo. 30 resins. So nga pala, meron nga palang bagong patch na 30 resins yung first 3 bosses na i-take mo. Total, di pa natin ma-unlock yung pang-apat. So, ito na lang muna. Kaya ko kaya to? Baka hindi ko kaya to nang walang tulong ah. Lipat tayo ng isa. Tanggalin natin si Ningwang. Tanggalin natin si Ningwang. Ay, si Neona na. Kasi wala akong heal. Tsaka super conduct. Sige. Ganda si Ningwang. Hi, Diluk. Nagkapulat akong Diluk o level 1. Bahala siya dyan.
Sure.
Tagal-tagal ko siyang inaabangan eh. Hindi mo siya lumitaw. Ay, hindi. Pang to. Para sa... Ay, ba't ko tinanggal? So, hindi talaga ito yung team comp natin. Kinuha lang natin to. Kasi, gusto natin ng... tawag dito? Name card. Yan. Kunin natin yung mga name card nila. Sige, yan na lang. Pwede na yan. Laban na lang. Kung mapagod, mapapagod. Try natin kung kaya natin mag-isa. Pwede naman tayo umulit. Para sa name card. Let's go, child.
This opportunity is quite hard to come by.
Ka-shower
Well
out.
then, amuse me. Surrender is a valid option. I promise I'll be gentle.
Oo. Wala pang artifacts pa mga gamit ko, child, ha? Kung ako masyadong inaaway.
Poor time.
Uy, nag-shield pa nga.
You're wide open.
Oo, 13k.
Try this. Passable left.
Oh, ang daya mo, naka-shield ka. Ay, gago mali. Man. Ang galis yung shield ko, man.
Don't blink.
Yun. Uy, sayang, staggered na siya. Ayun.
You've made some
Lucky
progress.
Aray ko po.
Income. Hey.
Sakit mo na. Ano? Husay naman po pala. Ninja.
Clear shot.
Patras! Patay! Very wrong. Aray ko.
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
Buhay natin
You've
yan.
got a trick.
Wala tayong healer eh. Patay tayo dyan pag namatay tayo. Ay, shit!
Don't blink.
Has your luck
Aray!
run out?
Keep
Ulit.
eyes.
Ulit.
Oh.
Hindi pala natin kaya. Kasi hindi pwede magpalit ng ano dito eh, character eh. Pagka ano eh. Hindi pwede magpalit eh. Sige na, si Zhongli na ang gamitin natin. Tagal na natin ito, so wala namang kwenta to eh. Shield lang,
Sure.
pahingi lang shield. Okay na ako. Zhongli. At least yung iba magkakaroon ng friendship
This
experience.
opportunity is quite hard to come by. Well then, amuse me.
boss, ano
Surrender
ako?
is a valid option. I promise I'll be gentle.
Goodbye. Ay, patay nga pala to si Kuching. Kasi di yun na. Nakalimutan ko
Don't waste
mag-heal.
my time.
Run all you like.
Solidify!
Submit.
La, bobo. Wala kasing artifacts pang gamit natin eh. Kasi, may
Solidify!
artifacts dito eh.
Passable effort.
Parang buhay. Okay, Zhongli na lang muna. Chad versus Zhongli.
You're wide open.
Ha?
Stabilize!
Signal ulit ako. Wala ka sa buhay mo. Ayun, nakatakbo.
Not bad. Not bad. You've got a trick.
Buhay ka na naman. Okay. Wala ka. Takin mo ko na takin. Wala ka. May shields ako, man.
Solidify!
Ang damage mo sa mga natin. Huwag niyo po akong husgahan. Mahina lang talaga yung character mo. Kaya natin ako mag-artifact. Kaya wala rin ako.
Stabilize!
Ano ba? Ay, dapat si Dio na
You've
muna
got
kinuha
some
ko.
skills.
Solidify!
Speed of light.
Has your luck run out?
Hindi ba, tanga. Kailangan mabuhay si Dio. Skip na natin yung animation. Panood nyo na yan eh. Alam nyo na yan eh.
Solidify!
Teleport.
This is order!
Maka! 23k lang. Wala. One eight. Hindi na talaga ng damage mo siya.
Gather!
Income.
So, 1,000 yun. Ay! Yan!
Right idea.
Hindi ko kasi hinili ang bobo eh. Pumasok ako, hindi ko hinili. Tanga. Makukuha pa ka rin kaya makukuha pa rin siguro yung friendship XP niya. Ayan na. Sakit kasi niya talaga eh. Lolo. Ang ganun ako boy ah. Hindi ako mamamatay, malakas shield ko. Malakas shield ko. Okay. Malakas shield ko.
Die.
Isa pa ulit.
Stabilize.
Ulit sa gitna. Nice. Very nice. Ay.
Gather.
Mamamatay ka na pa nga. Ay, nabobo kasi hindi nag-heal eh. Hindi muna nag-heal. 90 900 seconds. Ay, 99 seconds pa. Sana magkaroon din si Diona. Prototype. Wow, 3. Ayos. Okay. Pwede na. Para sa akin, pwede na. Yun, pwede to. Champion tayo dito. Pero kung gold yan, mas champion. Okay, great. To, pang Zhongli. Ang galing. Napakahina. Ang galing. Ha? Pakahina natin. Thank you sa like ng ating streamer, Reese. Share mo na rin, tsaka mag-comment ka na din. Tumambay ka na. Alam ko may pasok ka eh. Pero tumambay ka na din. Mag-heal muna tayo. Sana nalagdagan ng friendship XP yun. Kasi kung hindi, yari. Goals. Kung hindi nadagdagan ng friendship XP. Heal na tayo saglit. Ay, kabobo. Sayang. Saan pa ba tayo pwedeng okay, Andrews. Pero dito pwede tayo magpalit ng ng boss. Ay, ng character. Para hindi para makuha yung friendship XP. Ano nangyari dito? Ba't parang dito tumutunog? Ano yung gagawin ko? Saan natin punta? Dito. Let's go! So, pwede magpalit ng mobs dito eh. Nakakatanda ako. Yan. So, ito ang pinakamabilis na daanan papunta kay Andrew sa mga hindi nakakaalam. Ulitin natin. Dito kayo magti-TP. Instead na dito, kasi pag dito kayo nag-TP, ang haba ng lalakarin nyo dyan, Ito dito, panik lang kayo saglit, tapos dire-diretso na. Para sa akin napapanood ko lang din sa mga ibang streamer. Diyan daw mabilis na way para makapunta kay Andrews. Let's go! Lego. Oops. Dito, since pwede tayo magpalit ng karakter, gamitin natin yung isa nating kaibigan. Tanggal na natin to. Ito, si Bossing Razor. My boy Razor. Go. Ay, di pala ko. Bennett. Yan mo na, pwede na yan. Let's go. Shield lang kailangan ko, tapos damage. Aray. Ganun, gumagano yung camera natin. Uy, nawala agad yung shield ko. Sayang yung SS ko. Aray. Medyo mahina pang kakao natin. kasi tayo biniyayaan ng artifacts at weapon. Dam. Uy. What a shit. Tayo ulit. Uy, minus tayo dun. 24k yun. Hindi, kailangan ka mag-speed.
Solidify! I will have order!
Wow, 24k. Tama po pala ng ano mo. SS mo. Yun na, pasahan na natin. Pero patay mo na yan. Huwag ka na magpatama. Magpatama. Pakahina naman. Nagpatama pa na. Konti na lang yun. Na-witness niyo po kung gaano ka pangit yung mga karakter natin. Ang bobo mag-farm, ang bobo maglaro.
Let's go. Time is against
tayo
us.
kasi ito yung pinapa-name card natin. Ay, tanga. Tanga. Ito yung pinapa-name card natin. Bias natin yung name card nito eh.
Give me a moment to compose myself.
Tapos, pupulit mo yan. Kasi sayang eh. Parang yung friendship XP dyan eh. Uy, 4. 3 kanina. Tapos ngayon 4. Ayos ah. Oh, trash. 4. Prototype. Wala. Hindi nabigay ng prototype. Okay, move on. Halos talaga tayo sa mga ganong bagay. Balik mo tayo dito. Heal muna tayo. Heal muna tayo. Yan. After natin mag-boss try natin yung teapot. Teapot ay yung housing system ni Genshin. Sana kagaya din nung sa Honkai na na tumatakbo-takbo yung mga chibi nung mga Valkyrie. Ayun, kill na si Razor dito. Ayun na. Saan tayo pupunta? Kay Debalin. Pas lang natin si Debalin. Come on, Debalin. Bigyan mo ako ng prototype na espada. Para naman nang sa gayon ay umayos naman po ang ating mga weapon. Dito, hindi pwede magpalit. Kaya dapat ang parte natin dito iba din. Ang focus ko lang naman ito, si Kiching tsaka si Deona. Tingnan nga natin. Kasi yung friendship XP nito ni Kiching 8 na. Kay Ningguang 6, kay Deona 6 to 16 to, malapit ito mag-level pa lang. Pero kasi 10 na to eh. Yan, 10 na yan sila eh. Yan, 10 na yung nila. Yung friendship XP. So nakuha ko na yung mga banner nyan. Ay, banner. Mga name card pala, name card. So, hindi naman kaya nito mga to. Tanggalin ko na lang to itong dalawa. Galagay tayo ng DPS. Okay. Let's go. Mag-switch nga ako. Teka lang guys. Magsi-switch lang tayo sa controller. Kasi ang hirap mo control sa PC. Kala mo naman may nanonood sa'yo. May pag-guys ka pa nalalaman eh, no? Kala mo talaga may nanonood eh. keyboard, controller. Yun. Ha? Narinig naman ako. Alright. Hindi maugaw. Very nice. Maayos yung stream natin. Hindi daw maugong. Ang galing ko naman. Very nice. Ngayon. Yan. Kaso may nag-ghost touch na tong controller natin. Kaya ang ganin natin to, si Ningguang. Malalagay natin si Songli.
What shall we do?
Kasi shield, tapos damage.
I'll watch your back.
Ay, tanga. Game. Follow my friend. Bigyan mo ang prototype na Claymore, please. Bigyan mo ang prototype na Claymore. Please. Prototype Claymore. Para masaya. Prototype Claymore, please. Bigyan mo ako, please. Ay, late yung ano ko. Late yung notification ko. Ba't ganun? Okay. Again, thank you sa pag-like na. Oh, wala yung control na. Ibigay. Alright. Shield muna. Shield tayo dito. Ay, pwede ko pala siyang panain na pala. Panain mo siyang ganyan. O, diba? Tumama. Ayan. Lakas ng damage, diba? Lakas ng damage. Ay, naben. Naben. Galit ulit pa.
Keep back!
1, 2, 3. Dash. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pwede na yan.
Solidify!
Ba't kasi bigla akong gumaganon eh? Look! Hindi iba yung attack pattern na. Bali na. Nakakalito ah. Yun o. Pagka ganyan, lilipat kay platform. Kasi may damage yan eh. Masakit yan eh. Tapos nawala pa yung shield natin. Ayun. Oy! Magaling kang bata ka.
Solidify!
Anong abang? 20. Wala. Dito naman. Shield ulit tayo dito.
Gather!
Oh. Nice yan, boy. Nice. Very nice. Tapos panik agad tayo. Hindi ko nagtatagal. May silang yan eh. 4 jump. 1, 2, 3. 4 jump. 1, 2, 3. 4. Yeah, hindi mo naman yun. Ano pa naman yan?
Stabilize!
Grabe naman yan. Ano ba yan? Wala, nalilipad na yan. Ayun, pinagbigyan tayo. Dali. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wala tayo mag-shield. Sana natin ito. Ay, very nice. Tapos yun nga, malas natin. Di tayo pwede magpalit ng ayun o, di tayo pwede magpalit ng team. So si Venti lang at saka si Kiching ang makakapulot ng friendship XP. Uy, 4 ulit. Ay, malas. May plum. Mas dito wala. Wala nang ano. Pangit. Well, ganun talaga. Next week na lang ulit. Diba, Alin? Kita-kita next week. Kita na lang tayo next week, diba, Alin? bang sunod natin gagawin? Tapos na tayo mag-boss. Ay, may battle pass na pala tayo ulit. Ayun, level 1 na ang battle pass natin. Original resin 90 pa lang nagagamit natin. Kasi 30 eh. Bago natin gawin yan, mag-ano muna tayo. Mag-heal. Mag-heal muna tayo. Dito. Heal muna tayo. Start na tayo ng party. Kasi yung XP hindi natin makukuha. Ay, so nga lalagyan natin si Dion
The hunt
at
begins!
si Ning Kwang.
Let's make haste.
Let's make haste. Alright. Gawin na natin yung teapot. Ay hindi, unlock muna natin to. Para happy ka. Kasi
Nothing
gusto ko
more than
happy.
regular snowfall. One day I'll take you to see the snow that falls over Liyue.
Ano yung grab car? Ay, grab food. May pa-grab food ka? Libre mo ako? Libre mo ako grab food me. Makakain tayo ng Burger King ah. Malilibre pa tayo ng Burger King. Baka naman me. Yan oh. Ayan o, ayan o, ayan o. Palapasan lang natin yan kasi mahina lang yung mga karakter natin. Reach match. Ah, sama na pala sila dito. Pero hindi muna tayo pupunta dyan kasi build natin yan kay Zhongli tsaka kay Razor. Pero hindi muna tayo pupunta dyan. Ang hirap kasi, okay, pag nakita nyo itong mga karakter ko, walang artifacts yan. Ito lang meron. Yan. Ito, hindi pa buo yung artifacts nito, pero healer to eh. Oh. Ayan lang oh. Ayan lang oh. Puro zero. Kita nyo ba yung puro zero? Ito din, oh. Puro zero. Ito, apat. Ayan. Ito din oh. Zero. Para lang meron silang
Even if an antique is priceless,
handang ano.
the happiness it brings
Ikaw pa
lasts for
nire-level
only
up.
the moment that
Kasi wala tayong pang level up ng XP. Diba? Gawin natin yung mission. Eto, hindi ko alam kung ano tong kay Iris na to. When the trial goes cold. A Mondstadt adventure kid appears to be recruiting adventurers for a new and ambitious adventure. Ayan muna yung nabigit natin. Saan ba yan? Iris. Ah, ito. Sige. Usapin natin si Iris, ah. Kung ano man tong adventure na to na sinasabi ni Iris. Hindi ko na binasa. Hindi ko nabasa. Bakit nga pala ako nagpipindot. Hindi ko binasa. Ala, tapos na. Ano yun? Hindi na natapos. Okay, ito naman. Oh, saan daw to? Sa Liyue pala to. Mas madali pumunta dito. Mas madali dumaan. Dito tayo dadaan.
calm weather. Do not trust your eyes. Your eyes can lie to you.
Your eyes can lie to you. Oh, ito. Dito tayo sa lugar mo. Ningwang. Oh. Makakausapin natin dyan. Wala man tao. Linis, oh. Oh. Ayun. Si Granny, Madam Ping. Madami Ping.
Ah, children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Have you been looking for me?
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Lea Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
A gift? For Paimon?
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it. When you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you.
Ay, tama,
Fortunately,
Madam
I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy.
Ping. Subspace
Oh,
creation?
did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world.
Domain
The
expansion?
teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
Jujutsu Kaisen?
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Oh, indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power. But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need. What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days.
May interactive map ako.
Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely. You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies, and if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today. Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm. Or so it used to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans. Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an adeptus too, right?
Yes. I suppose she does count as an adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life, after all.
I'm back, Granny. Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Ah, allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yen Fei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yen Fei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records. You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame. A shame that we didn't meet sooner. If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yenfei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy. If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yen Fei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yen Fei. She's always been like this, ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Jaime was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to sign solemn contracts to protect Liyue Harbor and all that stuff? What do you mean he just went back to get married?
Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis, and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of the stuff you asked for, except for Smaragdus Jadeite. I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't secure any documentation either. Looks like the Ministry of Civil Affairs is serious about keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? But Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yenfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly, after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there?
Commercial consultancy. Or Snezhnaya. Ah, found him. Crossel. A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya. So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some. Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem. But it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
Wow, an an adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. That's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
Yun, Chasam. Kay Crossel. Alam ko nga ito yung sa babang merchant eh. Oh, siya nga. Yung parang gray. Pero total nandito na tayo. Kunin na natin ito. Sayang naman. Gandad din yan sa leeway sa battle pass. Ay, kahit wala tayong ganyo, tsaka hindi natin pinapalevel si Shinku. Shinchu. Kung Shinchu man yan. Oh, medyo madami ako. Goods na yung goods na. Yung sa baba. Pwede natin din ako na.
Where has Master gone this time?
Ganda ng pakwak niya ni Ingbang, oh. Bagay na bagay sa iyo ang pakwak mo, Ning, ah. Sabi na eh, si Crossel eh.
My friend.
Hello, Mr. Crossel. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei. What brings you here today?
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, in the end, I did acquire a small piece of Smaragdus Jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhi Qiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
Wait, isn't Smaragdus Jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhi Qiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the Smaragdus Jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhi Qiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Chow lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossel. We'll be off now.
Saan yun? Ito ka pupunta ang Chasam? Gusto ko nang pumunta ng Chasam. Chasam. Taas dito.
Oh, whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Mr. Chow? We understand from
Hello,
Mr.
Miss
Crossel
Tessa.
that you recently rented a pair of
Welcome
hairpins
to
from him.
stream.
My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
Pa-share
The
naman ako ng stream
hairpins.
din. Thank you.
I can't lend them to you right now. I've lost them. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice.
Tulog na load. Thanks sa like, pre. Kaya matulog na. Share mo na din yung stream ko para ano, pogi. Tsaka pairam ako ng ano mo, ng tawag dito, ng webcam mo. Para maganda yung stream ko.
My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the hairpins were for, well, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me. But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
Babayad ka ng madami dun, Shinking. Kapag hindi mo nabalik yung mga hairpin. Paano yun?
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Mr. Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow. True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossel the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks like she's about to faint.
However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Oh my
Except that
God.
if we found
Thank
the
you po sa
hairpins,
174
there'd no longer be
stars.
any need to
Yes,
check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Appreciate natin yan. Thank you so
Seems
much.
right.
Please. Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item and I should pay compensation per the contract.
Para sa kinabukasan.
However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue and then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Naku, yari ko.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins.
Pin-comment natin yan, syempre.
So hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel?
Patagtag naman ang like button,
Well,
guys.
I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade.
Nag-stream ako, may
My
kapantuan
family
ako
has
ulit.
seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch. Finest quality jade. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossel's.
Tagal lang pumunta sa Chasam. Dali mo na kami sa Chasam. Basta na namin makita yun. Arik. Ay, lumipad. Dito ba yung sig? Ay, sige, lumagpas tayo. Ah, iba pala to si...
I should
Paano-
open a store here.
Iba pala yung nasa isip ko. Paras kayong uniform, ha?
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see. How are the hairpins? I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
Yan na, nagsumbong na.
You lost them! Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Truly, I am. I'll pay the compensation as per our contract. Every last mora.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Mr. Crossell.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
I should open a store. Bayan, ang tagal naman. Find a convenient place to talk to. Shishang, uwi na naman na yung hairpin. Ano ba pakialam namin doon sa hairpin na yun? At padamay kami dito. Papalevel na dapat kami. Saan ba yan? Teleport naman tayo. Dapat nagpapalevel na kami niyan eh. Ano nangyari eh? Mamamasyal pa kami eh. Let's go, let's go. Saan ba? Ito ba?
I can't believe the well got promoted.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be Smaragdus jadeite after all.
Oh, talaga?
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for a living. Let's just say I made some deductions. I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossell's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty scam right to his face!
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave. And then, he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal. I'll share them with you in due course.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yunfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, can I ask you to please sign this contract?
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track. feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know.
These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract. Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yunfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well. And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
This contract has so many pages. Paimon's all out of brain juice again.
Alright, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Miss Yunfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite myself. I noticed strong traces of geo-energy around Mr. Crossel, so perhaps he has, in fact, secured some. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter, but either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it. But again, let's not dwell on this. Let's go to... where can we find someone who processes ore? Ha! I've got it! Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore. If Mr. Crossel had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Ay, akala ko playable character. Para si Shito. Yung sa kanan. Akala ko naman playable character to.
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh, it's you, Miss Yanfei. Is something the matter?
Something the matter?
Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear on all that is sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnine merchant named Crossel, you say? I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus Jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it from me to contradict them. He was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later. They're right over there, in fact.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
Saan yan? So, hindi na kami pupunta ng Chasam? Kasam? Yan. Ano ba yan naman?
Try your luck betting on Jade?
Huh? If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross-sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry all the time. I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy whatsoever.
Is that so? Well, we might as well give Elemental Sight a shot. So, did you find anything?
Wala.
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards? That's pretty awesome.
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price. And, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But, never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossell...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back to Chateau.
Patay kay Chateau. Yan na. Pagka tayo pumunta kay Chateau, mag-exit na ako ng mga application. Kasi naghahang yung ating PC.
In a trade war, the perfect hunter leaves no trace.
Miss Yanfei? Might I be so bold as to inquire,
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus Jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus Jadeite, uncut.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it carefully.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yanfei, but might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did.
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Nope. Aha! Got it! Singxi. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit.
Well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
Hindi siguro payat yung
Because
Sing
lots
Sing
of
yan.
people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, are very important to us. But the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard to understand and impossible to finish. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed.
So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish?
Yes, well, that's no obstacle because I've memorized all the legal codices.
You memorized them?
You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know? Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
Again, with that casual tone.
Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Singxi.
Sing Si. Let's go. Hindi na tayo nakapunta ng castle.
Try your luck betting on Jay?
Hanapin pa natin si Sing Si. Sing Si yan. Hindi yan chubby, Sing Si yan. Tara. Here. Ayun. Ito. Oh, siya nga. Sing Si.
Miss Yenfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time,
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel? Yes, I remember him.
Cross.
He's a merchant from Snezhnaya,
Name
no?
niya, eh, no? Crosso.
Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called Smaragdus Jadeite.
Mga
The design of the
taga-Susnaya
hairpins that he
tayo,
gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Inksy, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Krosel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Sinksy. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Nothing you need to worry about, just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it. Thanks again.
Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
Pupuntahan namin si Baizu.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for?
Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body. Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case up.
Mr. Baizu. That's Baizu. AKA... Orochimaru. Baizu, AKA Orochimaru. Aba, ang bilis mo naman dyan. Nandiyan ka na kaagad. Ay iba pala yung para sa nalamit. Tsaka na action.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi, she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yenfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire? Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer
Sarah,
great
thanks,
changes
share.
in personality and their illness will only ever get
Kapit ka na din.
worse.
Like mo na din yung stream na.
Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yenfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus Jadeite?
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago.
Yun na nga.
But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to the Snezhnayan merchant?
Ah, you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baizhu. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
You're too kind. Take care now.
That Baizhu guy is as weird as ever. Is it just
Support.
Paimon,
Thank
or
you,
does
Sarah.
it feel like he was searching for something back
Galing naman
there?
sa trabaho.
Dr. Baizhu's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossel.
Mr. Cross. Tulog na tayo lumipad. Lakar na. Teleport na tayo, teleport. Malayo ang lakad-lakad. Saan na tayo? Saan na? Haba naman ito. Nakakatamad na. Ibubunyag lang pala yung kalokohan ni Crossel. Pinapahirapan niya pa kami. Ano mapapala namin dito? Kung mahuli to si Crossel.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossel, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered,
Naku,
the
gusto na yung
substance
mga-
claimed to be Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus
wala
jadeite
tayong
twin
masyadong
phoenix
kausap
pins
eh.
that you
Kaya
rented
pwede
out to
tayong
Mr.
mag-
Chow was,
mute-mute
in
nung
fact,
ating
Smaragdus
mic.
nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine. Accordingly, you are liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this. I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the ore can serve as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question. This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Okay.
Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next?
Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
Okay.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus jadeite.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet. Traveler, would you do the honors?
Bakit ba tayo
This shall
inuutosan
serve
nito?
as decisive proof of our case.
Bakit is hindi ka magpakita ng ebidensya mo yan, Faye? Dinadamay mo pa kami?
What's this?
Smaragdus
Papalabel
jadeite
dapat
springs
kami.
forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the Ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
Nako.
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus jadeite's dangerous properties beforehand, why would you...
Huh? No, The hairpins aren't actually
inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Ms. Sir Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting.
Yep, he's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation, too.
Wow, may tumatahol pa
I
nga.
went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste? That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Jiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Exactly. If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora, and that is final.
10 times?
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much, Mora. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Ms. Jiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
What? But all right then. This cursed rock's brought me enough grief as it is.
Miss Yunfei, I'll turn this Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Well, that's not quite how the rules say this should go. But whatever, it'll do.
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yunfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crossell come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crossell, I'd like to talk business for a second if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business between us.
Let me think for a moment.
May kalokohan na, naging business partner pa. May magjowa pa yan, no?
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it. But this time, you managed to solve the problem with just a big stack of documents. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution. An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor. In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now.
You've returned. How did it go? Were you able to find the Smaragdus Jadeite? Good, good. Then we have all the materials we need.
Well, if we're all set, Granny, I'll get going now. Got a ton of clients waiting for me back at the office.
Oh, you. All right, then. Go see to your business. Granny should be able to handle the rest.
I'm off then. Bye! Oh yes, Traveler. Make sure you don't lose the business card I gave you. I've been looking into the laws of other nations as well. If you should ever bump into any trouble with the law, come find me directly. Regulars get discounts too.
Come now, child. Are you leaving or are you not? If you have no wish to leave, perhaps you'd like to help me clean my teapot,
Iyo, tapos na.
I'm leaving! I'm leaving!
That child. Goodness knows where she learned to be so rambunctious. Her father was hardly so riotous or fond of talking nonsense back in the day when he stood beside Rex Lapis. Indeed she is. Liyue has changed, and the Adepti must also learn to change.
Sige na, Madam Ping.
Yanfei might
Tagal
be
naman.
overly garrulous, but she is also the most intimately
Garrulous.
acquainted with the city among us all. Liyue is not the same place I once knew. All right, then. Let us speak of this no more.
Yun.
Back on topic. I believe that I still owe you a little gift.
Oh, Paimon's so excited! How is it made?
It is but a single teapot. It shan't take long at all. Just wait here for a moment. There we go. This Serenity pot is all yours now. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen. Take these blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your teapot a little more lively inside.
Wait a minute, Granny. How exactly are we supposed to use this teapot?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little helper to await you within this teapot. She will explain everything you need to know about it.
Sino naman yan? Yun, natapos din. Serenity pot unlocked. Hold LB button.
This is a peaceful neighborhood.
Oh. Teka lang, ano to? Ah, recipe. Recipe. Enter. Uy, mamimili. Floating abode? Emerald Peak. Cool Isle. Ito parang summer vibe. Ito tayo sa floating. May preview, may preview. Ito na tayo sa floating. Ayan. Uy! Wow! Malupit. Malupit yun.
Wow! This teapot seems even bigger inside than Madam Ping's. There's even a great big house in the middle, too.
Oh, ganda nga.
Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it. Paimon can't do that. Well, you're the one with the sword anyway. You do it. Still, why is it so empty here apart from that house? Oh,
Puntahan na
wait a
natin.
second. What is that?
Dahil mo kasing daldal Paimon eh. Yan. Wala, bago natin kausapin yung mukhang penguin na lumulutang-lutang na yan. Silipin muna na. Oh. 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 Uy! Ay, hindi na pwede. Gandun lang. Okay.
Hey.
Kailangan sa kabila. Log ah. Ay, yun. May tatas lang. May tayo sa taas. Ah, pwede kayong pumayag dyan. You know? Oh. Dali, lingkwang. Takbo, lingkwang. Wow. Uy. Hindi na pwede. Ay, kakinulaglag. Sira ulo. Sira ulo, nahulog. Ano? Sige na, tara. Usapin na nga natin to. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go.
Well, it seems that we have a visitor.
It's a huge finch! Excuse me, I am not a finch.
I am a teapot spirit, and you may call me...
Hang on a moment. What am I supposed to be called again?
Oh, call me. I suppose you may call me Tubby.
So you're the little helper Madam Ping mentioned?
Madam Ping? Oh, you must mean Ping. Yes, she did summon me here. She told me much about you.
You may leave all matters regarding the upkeep of this realm to me. Your journey may be far from over, but at least this way you will not want for a comfortable place to sleep each night. Though it is the Adepti who create realms such as this, they generally do not have the time of day to attend to the banal matter of their maintenance. Thus, we teapot spirits were created to help guard their realms and manage their affairs. You may consider me a butler, if you will. Now, allow me to explain this realm to you. Have you any blueprints on you? Specifically, blueprints with beautiful rooms, chairs, and the like. As long as you have a blueprint, you can refashion this realm however you please.
Blueprints? Oh, that's right! Granny handed us some when she gave us the teapot, didn't she? Let's take them out and have a look.
Yes, these are the blueprints I'm talking about. Go on. Open them up. Just commit the image of the objects to memory and prepare the necessary materials. Then simply release the thought from your mind and the object in the blueprint shall appear within this teapot.
Wow! Is that all it takes? Then we could build a whole city inside, couldn't we?
I doubt it. A golden-eyed adeptus explained this to me at some point in the past. He said that even though subspace creation is a product of adeptal power, even that has its limits. This world is not a true one, after all. It provides merely a moment of brief respite from the mortal realm, not a means of escaping it entirely.
A golden-eyed adeptus? Paimon wonders who could that be?
I hardly remember myself. What's more, I have never seen that adeptus again since. Well, let's not dwell on that. Have a look around. Best you get accustomed to this realm. If there's anything you would like to ask, just look for me.
Okay, Tubby.
After using and summoning the Serenity Pot, travelers can interact with it and enter the abode. Or abode. Basta yan. Travelers can also use and summon the pot while they are within its confines. Interacting with the Serenity Pot in this state will allow all travelers to leave. Travelers can also directly open the map interface and fast travel to any of the teleport waypoints to immediately leave the Serenity Teapot, okay? Talk to the Teapot Spirit inside the Serenity Pot to learn about and manage all manner of Teapot-related affairs. You can create all kinds of items from the creation screen. Materials used to create items can be gathered all over the world, okay? After obtaining and furnishing, use the place function to put in a position. Place furnishing to increase the adeptal energy rank of your Serenity. As your adeptal energy rank increases, realm currency will accumulate at a faster rate. So, dapat mag-furnish ako na mag-furnish. Spend realm currency in Realm Depot to purchase various items. Once in a while, a teapot traveling salesman will visit your abode too. There is a chance that he will bring some rare treasures with him. Okay? If you require a blueprint for a furnishing set,
We should look for a new
place
investment. Mora
furnishing
doesn't grow
by
on trees.
bastos naman ito, nagbabasa ako eh. Kaya ito niningwang eh. You can still make adjustment to individual. Okay.
Placement. May mga mission din. Obtain 30 pieces of wood through cutting down trees. Obtain 3 types of wood through cutting down trees. Enter mansion. Process 1 die. Oh, okay. Ano nga rin sa nilagay natin kanina? Ang layo. Pwede mag-forge. Okay. Magkaiba kay Tabi. Ayos ito
Maybe you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've materialized enough rooms and furniture through subspace creation, it will feel just like home.
Trust trunk. Ay, nakuha ko. Yun yung currency. Okay. Nagre-reset din siya every morning. Rank bonus. Claim rewards. Transform. Transform. Pag tumaas ng 10 yung trust trunk na. Okay.
Maybe you...
Switch realm. Pwedeng lumipat. Okay.
Maybe...
Create furnishing. Fear wood. Sandbearer wood. Kuha pa ako ng wood. Dye. Red dye. Kuha tayo niya. Red dye. Oh, yellow dye. Oh, blue dye. Oh. Fabric. Oh. Wala. Wala nga. Pa pwedeng may kailangan din ng kahoy, tapos may limit yung dye. Okay. Okay. Teka lang, may iba pang option dun.
Maybe...
Realm Depot. Okay. Kailangan ko pala nito. Trust Trunk level 2. Ito pwede na. May ba to? Naubos ba to? May 4-star din ito blueprint round table. Ang dami. Dami
Maybe you're...
Pa iba? Wala na.
If you ever have any questions...
Ano yan? May mga nakuha ako. Ayun. Round 1.
Even if an antique is priceless, the happiness it brings lasts for only the moment that you obtain it.
Enter mansion. Uy! Sino ang nasa loob nito? Uy! Walang laman. Wait a second. Uy! Wala rin laman. Hindi pwede. Walang laman. Pwede maglagay dito. Ay! Pwede maglagay dito. Ayun decoration. Kasi Ito nakalagay na. Lamesa. Lagay tayo lamesa din. Save. Ay, gagi. Nagpapagad. Oh, uyo. Oo nga, nalagay yung mesa. Ang galing. Meron pa dito eh. Ito. Ano yan? May kandila. Natin ang kandila. Ayun lang yung gamit natin sa bahay. Ang lungkot naman. Ang lungkot naman. Yan na naman ang bahay natin. Alam ba may nakuha pa akong recipe. Ayun o. Wine clock. Oh, dami pala eh. So bubuuin ko pa. Ito, dalawang blueprint ulit. Okay, tingnan natin yung mga blueprint na yan. So ikakrap ko pa, tama. Ito natin. Ano ko, ikakrap pa eh. Ikakrap. Ayun, intercept. Hindi pa pwede. Game. Tingnan natin. Pwede mag-craft, tapos maghanap ako ng kahoy sa sa mga malalaking lugar.
Maybe you're not used to the place at the moment, but once you've materialized enough room...
Create furnish. Ayan, dumami na. Pwede kong gawin. So, kailangan ko nga ng kahoy. Ano to? Pine wood. Birch wood. 4 na kahoy na. Magpuputol tayo ng kahoy sa labas. Achievement. Okay, saka na natin yan gawin. Pwede ka lumipat doon. Pwede tayo lumipat dito. Meron pa ako 78 resin. Subukan muna natin tong si Cryo Boss. Let's check it out. Natin kung gaano kahirap tong bagong boss na to.
One day, I'll take you to see the snow that falls over Liyue.
Pero magpapala tayo ng karakter. Kasi boss naman to eh. Mapapatay tayo niyan eh. F4. Oh baby baby, let's go. F4. No.
Live!
Keep back! Hindi mo makanin ko sa'yo
Stabilize!
Mamatay ako. Hindi lang tayo maglaban sa may may init. Uy.
Stabilize!
Ito, 90. Hindi ako may crit ha. Ba't di ako nagkikrit?
Solidify!
Come into being!
Uy, yan.
This is order. Burst forth.
Oh, talaga siya nag-heal.
Solidify.
Hindi na ilaban yun?
Keep back. Stabilize.
Let's light it up, everybody! Stand!
I taste blood. Solidify.
Discharge attack to hit the ball. Sorry, di ako nagbabasa.
Gather. Come into being. Stabilize. Stabilize. I will have order.
Balik ko sa'yo. Grabe yun, may nabubuhay na bato na ganun. Anong tindi nun ah. Teka. Paano ko sa party? Ang hirap pala nito kalabanin. Palit lang party, palit lang. Hirap pa. 5 star. Yan. Very nice. Yun, meron tayo nito. Galing ha. Ang hirap nun. Hello tayo. Grabe, ang astig nun ah. Kakaiba yung monster na yun ah.
The sun is out. Our work's done for the day.
Subukan naman
Shall we
natin.
take a stroll?
Meron pa tayong tirang. Parang gusto ko pa mag-isang boss eh. Kailan na ba tayo? 20. Tapos meron pa tayong resin na 38. 8 minutes, 20 minutes.
In adventuring, as in business, you always have to seize the opportunity while it's there.
20 minutes yan eh. Ay, isa na lang. Pwede natin hintayin. Mag-ano muna tayo. Dito. Reputation. Pero tapos na ako sa reputation. Pa-battle pass lang tayo. Reputation. Ay, hindi. So, one pa. Singeris yan? Singeris? Ha? Try pala natin yung domain. Yung domain na lang try natin. 2 run. Rasakto. Lakas daw to eh. Tingnan natin kung maganda yung mga makukuha natin. Match. At tayo kakampi, syempre. Lugi tayo pag tayo lang mag-isa. Hindi natin kaya yan. Yun. Apat agad. Siyempre si Kiching ang gagamitin natin dito kasi stick tayo eh. Kiching, give me na. Albedo? What enemy is here? Hindi ko pa alam po. Ngayon pa lang po ako maglalaro dito sa domain. Hindi ko pa po na-try. Wow, 6 yun, ha? Galing, ha? First play din.
When the sun's out, bathe in sunlight. But when the moon's out, bathe in moonlight.
Sige, yaman na. Ano nang mangyari, bahala kayo. Di ako nakanood eh. A black backlash will occur when opponent hits a character protected by shit. Unleashing a shockwave upon decision at this one instant. Oh, okay. So dapat may shit kami. Ay, may albedo pala. Yan.
Burst forth!
Start! Oh my god.
Don't blink! Hey! Let's light it up! Nowhere to hide. Don't blink! Written in the...
Aray ko.
Incoming!
Witness my great undertaking!
Cut to the chase! Don't blink! Hey!
Aray.
Coming to me!
Nowhere to hide!
Saan ang girlfriend kayo?
Let the shadows of fate is upon you!
Feel this ancient power! Burst
Hindi
forth!
ko na nakikita na 16 kayo ako dun. Ay, benefit ko.
Coming to me!
Dami nangyari dun ha. Kalito ha. Parang floor 12 ng Original lang. Huwag nung condense ko, sayang. Tingnan natin kung ano makukuha natin. First run, isang 5-star. Attack Sans. Malas. Attack Cap. Healing bonus. Na mask. Mocking mask. Buenas ha? Buenas. Huh? Huh? Buenas tayo dyan ha? In fairness ha? Buenas tayo ha? Magaling ha? Magaling. No plus sneak B like. Let's do it again guys. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Last lang. Kulang. Ang bilis na namin tinapos, hindi umabot ng ano eh. 1 minute eh. Ayoko naman gamitin yung condensed resin ko. Ayun. Speaking of. Ayan, matagal pa naman yun. Cursed Domain Part 2. Let me
Wanna come over for tea? Come on, enough
for
procrastinating. Let's go.
Songli. Meron tayong healer eh, baka mamatay tayo eh. Healer ako. Game. 2Gio, 4Gio, haha. Wag, huwag ganun. Pangit. Start mo na, huwag na mag-4Gio. Okay na yan, ganyan. Huwag ka na magpa-4Gio, pa nalalaman dyan. Mamatay tayo pag wala tayong ano. Mabot kaya? 20 na ba? Ang tagal. Matapos namin agad to. Harbinger of God.
Give up my great undertaking.
Let's light it up.
Aray.
Off we go. Everybody stand back. Let's light it up.
10,000. 3,000 na lang. 6,000. Pwede itong sulit.
I'm going in.
Or overload.
Yeah.
Aray.
Yeah. We're ready to got this. Don't waste my time. That's gonna hurt. Why do they never miss? Teamwork is strength. Let's light it up.
Tuning ko, ang hila ko. Pumasok sa'yo eh.
Moments of birth. Burst forward.
I'm going in. Let's light it up.
Taas ng heal ko, 6k oh. Sinayang mo lang oh.
Adventure time.
Mabot. Yun, mabot. Mabot. Ayan, ay mas... Ayun, iba naman. Attack. Crit damage, elemental mastery. Eh, hindi pwede. HP. Oh, pwede na. Kasi may elemental mastery. Hindi naman kailangan ng Zhongli nun. Okay. Alas na tayo dyan. Masyadong mahirap yan. Saka na natin intindihin yan pagka madami na tayo resin. Uy, may Yanfei siya. Speaking of Yanfei, meron pala tayong mga ilang pools. Meron ako dalawang pools yata ako ngayon. Subukan natin kung kapag Yanfei tayo. 900. So humigit kumulang 3 pools to. Tara, subukan natin. 3 pools. Hindi tayo sa paborito kong spot. Ay nga, wala akong PT kasi nakuha ko nga si Deluxe ng isang araw. So, malas. Ito ang favorite kong spot.
Let's play.
Tayo sa monster. Isa-isa lang kasi wala din tayo abot. Ayun na, yan, pay mo na agad. Oh, wala. Ayaw pa yan. Isang yan pay lang, masaya na ako kahit di na ako mag-zongli. May zongli na ako eh. Wala. 2, 3. Ayun na. Yan, Faye, come on. Yan, Faye. Oh. Kakaibang yan, Faye. Ano yun? Ba't may tumatawag sa akin? Si Bea tumatawag sa akin. Alright. Diona. Wala. Hindi si Yanpei binigay. Mayaman na makakuha din tayo niyan. 5 balls. Uy, di na umabot. Sayang. So, nakalima tayong pulse doon. Kasi kakabunt lang natin ng dilo ko. Ng 24. Kaya wala pa tayong PT. Malas. But at least, nakabunot. Ala, ano to? Ano ba yan? Okay, okay. Okay. Siya tayo. Check na natin yung ating Dio na. Goods naman yun kasi pinapalevel naman natin si Dio na din. Ayan. Constellation 3. Dio na. Si 3 Dio na. Galing, diba? Goods na goods. Hindi na masama. Nasa tayong Dio na. So 50-50 na tayo. It's either weapon ang makuha natin o ibang 4-star character. Ayos, diba? So, yun nga. Siguro hanggang dito na lang muna. No? Maraming salamat sa mga tumambay. Kila Paulo, kila Reggie, Marie, Sarah. Ang dami, 429,000 viewers
I'll play
tayo
you
today.
another tune,
Siyempre, thanks
but
sa mga
it'll
nag-abot
cost you
ng
an
stars,
apple.
sa mga nag-share, sa mga nag-like. It's just a thank you for 174 stars. Next time ulit. Ito na lang muna ang mga happy. Ako ang inyong happy dad. Let's see you sa mga susunod nating stream. Wait nyo yung notification natin para sa susunod nating stream. So, good night. Meow. Thank you.